Hello and welcome back to the Coffee Dates podcast with Georgia Batocco, where I will be your host. We're in the Let's Catch Up over coffee era, so grab yourself your favourite coffee and come and join me. So before I get started, I just want to say that there is a bird near my apartment that is so loud, so I'm sorry if you can hear it in the background. For some reason, the birds in Australia are so loud. So yeah, I really do apologize if that noise is in the background. But anyway, I'm gonna basically be trying to upload an episode every Monday. However, it is gonna be Christmas the next Monday. So that's why I'm going to be uploading on Friday this week. But yeah, after Christmas, I will be trying to upload an episode every Monday. But yeah, I hope everyone's feeling super Christmassy. I'm currently sat drinking my Bailey's coffee. You'll probably see it in the clip that I upload onto my Instagram page. So if you're not already following that, head on to Instagram. My handle is at the Coffee Dates podcast. So come and follow me. I basically just upload clips from the episode so you can see me visually as well. But I don't know about anyone else, but when I drink Bailey's, it really gets me in the Christmassy mood. I mean, this will be my 6th Christmas in Australia, and guys, like if you're used to growing up in like even like England for Christmas, like Australian Christmases are very different. I mean, for one, like we're used to it being cold around Christmas time. So, and like, you know, like all the decks up, like cozy nights, like being wrapped up warm. And Australia is obviously like a Christmas tree on the beach, so like it still doesn't feel like Christmas. So I'm trying to like drink Bailey's. I put some Christmas decorations up, just trying to get me in like the Christmas spirit. But anyway, enough baffling on. I hope you guys are all ready for Christmas and are on your little holidays. But yeah, let's get started into today's topic. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of staying consistent throughout your life, and I thought it'd be sweet to share some life tips with you that I was beginning to understand when I was just 16 by sharing some snippets from my diary. I basically was having a little tidy out, and then I came across my diary. I haven't written it in a year, completely forgot about it. But basically I've always kept diaries and notebooks full of stories and poems since I can even remember. I don't know, I have just always had a really big imagination full of lots of ideas, and I love sharing this with people and writing it down, you know, turning it into stories and poems. So anyway, this diary, unfortunately, is the only one I still have left. The date that I started this diary goes back to 2012, and the most recent time I wrote in it was 2022. So like I said, I haven't written it for over a year now. I completely forgot I had it. So anyway, I was having a flick through, and the first thing I noticed was just how many different emotions and life changes I went through during just these years alone. It got me thinking, and I was like, so many of us go through and overcome some challenging stuff, but simply forget because a lot of us don't document this by keeping like a diary like I did, or simply we just don't spend any time reflecting. I feel that this is a perfect time of year to discuss this as it's Christmas, and I feel like at this time of year, most of us will naturally reflect on how the year has been. It's also a time of year where people may feel more lonely than normal for whatever reason, and that's why today I would love to share with you some snippets from my diary. And as I said, discuss the importance of staying consistent throughout life in general. I hope that this episode can give some peace of mind and reassurance to people that may need it right now. And it's your gentle reminder to stop, slow down, and reflect on how far you have come, and to really think about what you, not anyone else, what you want in life, and then just simply to keep going. Okay, so let's get on with it and read some snippets from my diary. Slightly embarrassing, but I'm sure this would be in most girls' diaries at 16 years old. So anyway, the first thing I wrote in my diary that really stood out to me was about friendships. I basically wrote, and by the way, I'm not going to read out the names. So I wrote here, I mean, I have so many close friends, and then I list the names. But my best friend ever is and I'm not going to say the name. I have known her almost all my life, and we have been extremely close ever since. We are just so similar, it's unbelievable. Therefore, it's easy to open up to each other because I know she genuinely really does know how I'm feeling, and she gives the best advice, and I'm very grateful to have a friend like her, since let's be honest, a lot of people we come across in life are very disrespectful and fake and untrustworthy. So yes, I don't know how I'd get through certain things if I didn't have her to talk to. So that's the little snippet I write about one of my best friends who, little fact, I'm still very good friends with now, even if I do live on the other side of the world to her. So now I was only 16 at this point, but I was lucky enough to spot quite quickly a genuine friend who truly cared about me. Now, of course, I was 16, so I was still surrounding myself with friends that maybe didn't always have the same values as I did. But the most important thing about this is I knew this, so I understood quite early that I could still be friends with that person, but there were certain things I wouldn't share or do with them. For example, I understood quite early on that I could still be friends with someone I didn't share the same values with and go out and have a brilliant night out with, but I knew that there were certain things I wouldn't do with them. Like, for example, tell my secrets to them, that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, as long as that person isn't absolutely terrible and getting you into serious trouble, then I do think that as a teenager, it's important to surround yourself with different types of people and not to restrict yourself to one box. I guess you could see it as a jigsaw puzzle, each piece coming together to complete the puzzle, the same as each friend bringing something different to the table to fill up your cup. What I'm trying to say is you can have multiple friends that bring different things to the friendship, but as long as you understand that, so there may be a friend that you enjoy going out with and socializing with, like big groups of people, having a laugh, but then maybe they're not that trustworthy, so then you wouldn't tell them certain things, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be friends with them. Whereas you might have another friend that's maybe not as sociable, but you can really trust them with your secrets. I think it's important to know that you don't need to have friends that do tick all of those boxes. As long as you know which friend brings what to the table and you're aware of that, you can still have these different types of friends. And I think that's important, to surround yourself with different types of people and not just stick to one type of friend. But at the same time, that one friend that is the genuine one that you can tell everything to, you should keep them close. So the next thing I noticed was about how even at 16 years old, I never gave up. So something that I found that I wrote, let me just find it. Okay, so I wrote, I was not and have never been very academic and have really struggled with maths. But I tried my hardest to understand it, knowing that it was important. I finally passed maths on about the 8th attempt. I wrote, I write my grades here, and then I put, since it was very hard, and although these grades are bad to some people, to me they were outstanding, knowing I had tried so hard and got 9 out of 10 GCSEs. My mum and dad were also very proud of me. And then I carry on to talk about something else. But guys, if you don't know, my family will definitely know, because with my maths homework, there would be screaming matches with me and my parents most nights, because I just didn't understand it. I physically did not understand it. I struggled a lot with numbers and maths. Just like how people are dyslexic and struggle with letters and words and stuff and reading. That was me, but with maths, it was very, very challenging for me. And like my parents would start by trying to help me and like be patient, and then they'd just be like, why does this kid not get it? And then it just end up in me like, I'm not doing this, why do I have to do maths? And yeah, just massive screaming matches. And then it led to my younger sister trying to tutor me, and yeah. So anyway, me passing, even if it did take me 8 bloody times, which was a lot of my parents' money because you had to pay to retake it after like the second time or whatever. After all of that, I managed to pass, and I was so really happy. But anyway, back to the point, you know. This can be applied to so many things. I'm sure there has been a time, or maybe there's something right now that you are trying to reach towards, but it seems impossible. Maybe you have already failed 2, 3, 4 times, and you've simply given up. If you keep going, like me in my maths exam, you may just succeed on the 8th time. There was also something else I found, which kind of gave me the impression that I never gave up, and I understood that to get something good, sometimes it meant through going through something hard. So I wrote, I would like to say though, just how much I want my braces off. I can't wait to get them off, so my mouth and teeth can finally feel free. But at least when I'm braceless, I'll have a beautiful smile. I also go on to then talk about my fish that apparently I called it lucky since all of my other fish kept dying straight away. But anyway, the point is, even at such a young age, I'm understanding that to get something good, sometimes it means going through something hard. Like, I'm realizing in that moment as I'm writing that the I don't like what I'm doing now will pay off in the future. And as I said, you can apply this to almost anything in life. And I personally feel that when you believe in the impossible, even when you don't fully believe in it, but you're manifesting and taking small steps to get there, I believe crazy things become possible. And what felt like a lot of pain in that time, in the grand scheme of things, that short-term pain can lead to a life full of success. Oh God, you know, when you're just like cringing at yourself. But let's go ahead and read this next part. Okay, I've wrote, truth is, I have a very wild/big imagination, and ever since I was little, I've always wanted more in life than most normal people. I want something to come along, or should I say someone, ? Just anything that makes my life magical and amazing, not just the same old thing every day that everyone else does. I know I can't think like this, but I can't help it. I just have this feeling that big things should happen, but whether or not they will, I don't know. ? Oh God, you know, you just like cringe at yourself, but I don't know. I mean, I was 16 when I wrote that. Like, fair play for thinking big, but like, I was very dramatic, you know? But look, let's get back to the point I want to make with this little bit that I wrote, my 16-year-old self. How many of us felt this way growing up? You know, saying, I'm going to do this when I'm older, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that, etc. And so many of us simply forget, and we forget to live a fulfilled and purposeful life. And as much as I talk about moving away from home and a lot of traveling, etc., living a fulfilled life looks different to everyone. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it is about being in the moment you're in and training yourself to be present in that moment, rather than just going through the motions. And being appreciative of what you have and the emotions and experiences you've been able to experience in this crazy human existence that we are living. It may sound deep, guys, but it is so true. And I think the more you kind of get into this pattern of thinking, and the more you try and just like appreciate how crazy everything is and how lucky kind of like we really are, even when we are going through like some like really horrific and crazy things. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like thinking in this way can really change a lot of stuff in your life. I don't know, guys, but that's just me reflecting on my diary, reading some embarrassing stories. But I just think that's kind of cool, like looking back at all of the stuff I wrote. I don't know, like I'm not gonna read any more of it because there are a lot of personal things in there, along with a lot of embarrassing stuff. I actually talk a lot about wanting a boyfriend. Like, I mean, like a lot. I write about wanting a boyfriend in almost like every sentence I write. Okay, maybe not sentence, but every entry I write on every day, I'm talking about wanting a boyfriend or like this crush I have in school. But at the same time, I do feel like that says a lot about the pressures we have at a young age to like get into a relationship and have a boyfriend. But that's a whole nother conversation. So if you would like me to dive into that and read some of those embarrassing stories, well, embarrassing entries I wrote in my diary, then I will, if you guys would like to hear that. But anyway, just in the first few pages, as a 16-year-old, I was learning to never give up. I was learning about friendship groups and the importance of who you're surrounding yourself with, and learning about how to live a fulfilled life. Without even realizing it, I go through so many emotions, so many life changes, etc. But I simply keep going and I stay consistent. Reading back my diary, it was clear I was feeling feelings of grief, loss, loneliness, isolation, but I was also feeling feelings of happiness, determination, and joy. One of my favorite quotes is, "Treat emotions like visitors who are just passing through." For whoever needs to hear this, stay consistent and keep riding the wave, as you really do not know what is around the corner. As I always say, stay authentic and stick to your own path. I feel like these days, I mean, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I do feel like with everything being labeled and all of these different techniques being plastered around Instagram about how to feel better, etc., it can actually be a bit overwhelming and become confusing. What personally helped me was listening to a podcast in which people discuss their stories and what personally helped them, and also listening to psychologists who discuss why you are feeling a certain way. Anyway, I could go on, but I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you enjoy diving a little bit into my diary with me. I hope that it's kind of made you like reflect on your younger self and kind of think about the things you have got yourself through, like the challenges you've overcome. And yeah, I just really hope that this resonates with someone, and I hope you enjoyed it. But have a lovely Christmas, and I will speak to you guys soon.